Hey, 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 everybody. Happy Monday. Oh my goodness. It's Monday, Monday, Monday. I leave for Punta Cana on Thursday. I'm just so excited. Actually, so as I posted a little earlier, like all of our team members are there, which is super, super, super cool. But I'm very excited because all of the people that I work with, like on a daily basis, are going to be there on the wave that I am there on Thursday. And so it's so awesome to like watch the other people, and they're having so much fun. And my partner Jennifer is there right now, and so it's really good for our groups. It's not really great for us, but we're just so super excited for everybody, you know, for this opportunity for us to earn these free trips. But anyways, I again had this topic to talk about. This is my Monday series, I Love Me Monday, and these are just different ways of how we can learn to think about ourselves, or learn to talk differently about ourselves, or learn to face ourselves, all of these different things. And so I had this topic, this part of this topic picked out for today, and my meditations have been kind of right in alignment with the topic again, which always happens, and it's very, very crazy. So anyways, what I wanted to talk about today is kind of like stop the self-shaming, right? Because it gets really, 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 really easy to get into habits of shaming ourselves, like no matter what it is. I actually last week had a huge, it wasn't really shaming, it was more joking and kind of wanting to cry. I went to Victoria's Secret to get some new bras because I got some cute clothes for Punta Cana, and I haven't got new bras for a really long time. I went last year for new swimsuits, and you know, obviously with this journey for me with getting so fit, and as everybody else calls it, ripped, I obviously have lost a lot of my chest because that's what happens. And you know, at first when that first started happening, I was very embarrassed about it. I didn't really like what I was seeing in the mirror just because I was used to having a larger chest. And you know, there's many, many different ways or reasons why people don't love the body that they're in. And so that was kind of a little bit of a hard transition for me, if you will. And so it kind of came full circle last week as I was sitting in the dressing room with my friend Brooke. Well, we weren't in the same dressing room, but anyway, she came with me, and I kind of just I caught myself really joking about it a lot as I was there. And I think that that's just kind of my coping mechanism, is a lot of times, like, even if I see somebody get hurt, it's not that I want to laugh that they got hurt, but it's just kind of like how I cope with things. And so as I was in the dressing room and just kind of like really, really kind of sad, I just was joking, and I was joking with the lady, and I was like, you know, part of me just kind of wanted to cry. And when the lady would go to get a different size or whatever, I just kind of was looking in the mirror and just was like, you know, yeah, my body looks amazing. I work super, super hard for it, but now my chest is pretty much completely gone. And, you know, I walked in and she's like, well, what size are you? And I was like, I have no idea. And she's like, well, what size do you think you are? And I was like, well, I was always, you know, a 30-60. And she's like, no. And I was like, yeah, I was. And so she's like, you probably have been wearing the wrong size like forever. She's like, there's no way. She was like, I'm a 36, and you know, she was a little bit bigger, and I was like, yeah, but I have a really big rib cage. And she's like, you're not anywhere near a 36. And so anyways, I got measured, and I'm a 32, and she thought I was a B, and but I'm a C. And anyways, so all of this stuff was going on as I was in the dressing room, and it was tough. It was hard, because I'm sorry if any guys are watching this, but for those ladies, especially those ladies, I see a bunch of the ladies that are on this fitness journey, as you start losing your chest, and from whether it's fitness or being a mom or just getting older or whatever the case is, you know, so she's like, so how much push-up do you want, or how much padding? And I'm like, well, I don't like want to pretend that I have a chest. I'm like, so I don't know. I'm like, I just need something, you know. And she kind of was like, okay, so you lean over and you do this. She's like showing me how to scoop, and I'm like, I don't have anything to scoop. There's nothing to, I just need, I don't know. It's nothing. So anyways, I just am telling the story because this goes along with the point of my I Love Me Monday. But, you know, self-shaming is hard. And even though I was sitting there kind of like laughing and joking about it, like I was kind of self-shaming myself. And, you know, I just felt kind of sad a little bit. Even though I do all of this hard work, I still felt sad about where my body is right now with up here and things like that. So anyways, like stop the self-shaming. I mean, people self-shame in many different areas and on many different topics and on many different levels, and it's very hard. And especially if you grew up in a household or a family or went to school where kids bully, or, you know, whatever the case is, even work environments and stuff like that, like it's very hard to learn to love yourself or to not self-shame, especially if you have been exposed to other people that kind of were shaming you. Robin, right? Seriously, it's very real for me. My nickname for years was Super Knockers, and now it's like, hey, Dory from Finding Nemo, like for real, and it's been a hard adjustment. But so for people who have been beaten down by words or have been judged by others, which happens, it always happens, it happens to everybody, right? Like it's not that anybody's exempt from it. It's not that, you know, anybody, I'm sure everybody has been shamed or judged or, you know, made fun of or put down or whatever. It's, again, that saying, I said it last week too, like, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Like, words are always more painful than a stick or a stone, right? I'd rather have a stick or a stone. I'm pretty tough. I can take a stick or a stone. But anyways, so to stop the self-shaming, I just was reading an article, and then, like I said, with my meditations kind of lining up with this, I just came up with like a couple of different things. In this article, it says to like break it up into weeks, but I think for some people, this is a lifelong journey for many people to try to find the strength to move past some of the things that have weighed them down for such a long time, right? So whether this is like week 1 or month 1 or year 1 and year 2, you know, whatever the time frame is for you, I think that there are definitely kind of steps that you can take to try and overcome some of these things that have brought us down for many years. So the first thing is literally, and I know so many people, this is why I was thinking about doing this video this morning, and then I actually went tanning today just because it's super yucky and dark and dreary and gloomy, and that's a whole nother story. No, I don't want to be in the tanning bed, but I just kind of needed that little thing today, a little bit of vitamin D, and I went to the bathroom, and in the bathroom, on the mirror, all around the border, were these awesome little sayings, like to me, right? So it was like little sayings that you can put all around. I'm probably sure that if you go onto Amazon right now and Google like wall mirror stickers, that it will pop up. So it was like, you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are great, hey you know, hubba, good looking, you know, looking great today. And so the first stage of kind of dealing with self-shaming, I think, is unfortunately going to be like to just go and face yourself. Like, go and face yourself in the mirror, or sit in the quiet. Or I talk about a lot of my transformation had to do with when I moved here and Chad deployed, and it was basically, I had to sit with myself. And so in years past, I was super busy and always going and always on the run and always doing this and always doing that. And, you know, I obviously was doing that, so I didn't have to really like deal with all of my thoughts and myself. And so same thing with self-shaming, is if there's that one thing that cripples you, or that you're constantly complaining about, or that you're not happy with, like, that's the thing that you have to face. If it's standing in the mirror, or taking a picture of yourself and taping that on your fridge, or I know a lot of people, like, you know, tape pictures on the fridge of like what they want to look like, or maybe you take a picture on the fridge to remind you of why you don't want to grab the treats that somebody else had put in there. And I know it can be very difficult, but you know, face yourself, go and look in the mirror, and if it helps you at first, go and look in the mirror and write down all of the things that you don't like about yourself. I know that this sounds silly because I know that you probably have heard the opposite, but like, in order to take the steps and to try to kind of get over this self-shaming, I think in order to do that you have to face it. You have to be like, all right, this is what I don't like, okay? For me, it was a dressing room last week. I am over it now. I honestly actually really am. I actually now can look in the mirror naked and not feel, you know, like, oh my gosh, what happened to my upper body, you know? And it's been like 2 years since I have been kind of doing that self-shame. But when I was in that dressing room and kind of joking about it and almost making fun of myself, it kind of made me realize, like, but look at how far I've come in all other areas of my health and fitness and nutrition and what I'm teaching my son and all of that stuff. Like, boobs are just boobs, right? Like, I had them for a long time. They were cool, but now they're gone. But hey, now I got a booty, and now I have this, and, you know, and I have my health, and I have good skin, and I have hair that grows really fast, and nails, like, hello, 2 weeks. I don't know if you can see that, but yikes. I've cut them way down, filed them. You know, there's so many other things that we can be proud of. So anyways, go and look in the mirror. Oh, go and sit in the silence. A lot of people that I talk to about the guided meditation, I can tell immediately when I start talking to them about it, they're like, well, what do you do? How do you know? My mind just is too fast. I just can't do that. And, you know, that's kind of how I was, I guess, when I first heard about how people meditate and stuff like that. Like, to me in the beginning, it was weird to me. I was like, why would you want to do that? Right, Tara? Right? I think for me, the reason why is because I always had a pretty large chest. I think that's why it's hard for me. But not anymore. No shame in my little booby game. No, what was I saying now? That totally caught me off guard. Oh, shoot. What was I saying? Remind me. This is terrible. Oh, meditation. Okay, sorry. When I first heard about meditation, or when I thought about people who did triathlons, or people who taught cycle, or any of those kinds of things, like, I don't know if it's just because I put those limitations on myself that I thought I would never be able to do those things. I think that's what it was, but I was like, why? Why would you want to just sit there and be quiet? Why would you, you know, and I think that was my weakness in those areas, that it wasn't necessarily self-shame, but it was kind of almost not shaming the people that did it, but just kind of like, well, that's not me. It's very much so me now. It's very much a part of me. So now when people ask me about my meditations, or about, you know, a lot of people I'll talk to, and they're like, well, how did you get to where you are now? And I'm like, well, it's a very long road, and it's a journey, and it's never ending, and I still have bouts of anxiety that come up, and, you know, all of that kind of thing. But what does change it and make it better, and, you know, makes every day manageable and makes me want to be better every day, is when I do my meditation, is when I stay on track with my nutrition, is when I do my workouts every day. And so I can tell immediately when I talk to people. Same with people that reach out to me about the program. A lot of people, well, I don't have time for that, or I don't, you know, I can't prep, or I'm such a picky eater. Or actually, Tara is such an amazing person in that, not that she was making excuses, because she actually just was like, I really want to do this, and, you know, I'm super excited to do this. She's like, I just have to tell you that I might be a pain in the butt because I'm a very picky eater. And I'm like, it's all right. We'll just work with what you like, you know? And so, like, that's part of my favorite part of this, is that everybody assumes that you, like, have to be perfect, or that everyone has to do the same thing, or everybody always has to do the same program, or everybody always has to eat the same things. And it's not. Like, I work with everybody individually. And so what's so awesome, like, about Tara is, you know, she's like, well, I only like celery and broccoli. I'm like, then that's what you'll eat. You'll just eat celery and broccoli, right? So it just goes to show that I think in the beginning, in fact, I do know, like in the very beginning, Tara was like, I'm afraid that I'm going to fail, right? And so I think a lot of times it's not that people don't want to start doing something, or it's not that people can't do meditation, or it's not that people can't find the time to do food prep, it's that they don't want to. A difference again with Tara is that she was like, no, I'm doing this, I'm basically putting skin in the game, meaning I'm buying the program, I'm buying Shakeology, I'm gonna go all the way in. And that's what sets people apart. That's when people have really, really awesome results, is when they have skin in the game. Because if you're just, all right, yeah, oh cool, I'll do this fitness blender workout on, I don't even know, what is it, YouTube or something like that. Like, yeah, it's great that it's free, but then you're not going to get great results because you're just doing like random things here and there. Where, if you have skin in the game and you're doing a set program and you're working on all different aspects of your lifestyle, or, whatever it is, it doesn't just have to be about this. But okay, so look in the mirror. And then the next thing would be like nonverbal habits. Nonverbal habits are probably worse than the verbal habits, right? So for a lot of people, think about like sucking in your stomach, or, holding your breath, or biting, like literally biting your cheek when you have something that you want to say. Like, again, whatever your one thing that you want to start working on first. The article that I was reading today was talking about fat shaming, and I just hate to say that out loud, so I don't want to say that. But, instead of sucking in your tummy, or like, what about people that I didn't like my ears for the longest time, and obviously like my hair is always up. And so for a long time I would wear a hat over my ears, or I would wear like my bandana over my ears, or you know what I mean? And then I was like, whatever, my ears are cool, they can be out if they want to. So that first week is just really digging deep and writing down the things that you can think of that you might shame yourself for, whether or not they be verbal or not, okay? And then the second week, replace those negative comments or actions with healthier ones. And so if you're replacing negative comments like, oh my gosh, I look so terrible, or like I was doing last week, like, oh my gosh, hello, I might as well not have any boobs. I might as well just take them off. Like, obviously, what a terrible thing to say, right? So rather than saying negative things about yourself, turn it around into something better. Like, okay, well, this might be different, or this might not be great, or maybe I'm working on myself, but, I'm not where I want to be yet. As long as you're making strides every day to be a little bit better, then you're making strides every day to be a little bit better. So always just focus on that. And again, this is super hard. This is not just going to happen overnight, especially if you were already predisposed to people putting you down in your past. It can go all the way back to your childhood. It can go back to high school. It can go back to a job, a boss, whatever the case is. Brody's like, why are you over there talking again? This is going to take some time. This is a lifelong thing, most likely. There might be things that you can overcome and things that you can work on, and body parts that you can get into shape and things like that. And then maybe it's something else that comes up, or maybe it's something else that somebody else says, or maybe it's you walk by the mirror and you catch a glimpse of something that you don't like. The number one reason why I meditate is because I used to be a pretty negative person, and life is just too short, right? Like, there's just, especially since having my own child, I never want my child to feel sorry for me, or I never want my child to hear a bunch of negativity about myself, or, oh my gosh, well, this person, this, like, I want my child to be a good, positive and upbeat child, right? I feel like if I'm constantly complaining about things that I don't like about myself, well, kids worry about their parents. And I remember worrying about my parents, and not that my parents talk negatively about themselves, but like, things can just be taken different ways, especially in the little eyes around us. And so I think especially those of us that are parents or parents, or, you know, even aunts and uncles, or if your friends have kids, or, you know, here's the thing, like, if you're not going to do it for yourself, at least do it for the people that do care about you. Like, at least stop the negativity towards yourself for those people that care about you. I had to tell, I don't know if she's still on here, and I'm not going to say her name, but another good friend of mine, and she's also a coach now, she has the she's got the scale addiction, if you will, and that happens a lot. And the problem with the scale addiction is the scale doesn't say like, oh, you haven't lost any weight but you've gained a ton of muscle, or the scale doesn't say hey, look at your pictures, because in your pictures you very noticeably have a bigger smile, or look at your flex from last week until this week, or, you know, look at your hair got longer than it was in the last 6 months, or you can get a manicure now because your nails are growing and they're not short and picky, and, you know, all of that stuff. Like, there always is a positive thing that you can find rather than a negative thing to say. So although it may be hard, although it might seem impossible for you, then ask the other people that are in your life that care about you what those things are, and start saying them to yourself. Start writing them on Post-it notes. Start putting Post-it notes around your room. This is something that we do in my groups, and this is something for my May VIP group that we're going to be working on every single week. Different focus each week of different personal development topics, and every day is going to be a little bit of a different thing too. In fact, I'm probably going to also run a free group for personal development and stopping self-shame and along those lines. But if you put Post-it notes all over, or if you write on your mirror with like a marker, and you write on your rear view mirror, you write on the inside of your windshield, or, you know, whatever the case is, if there's a certain cue for you that you know, like, okay, every time I go to my fridge, I feel terrible, I feel shameful, I feel, you know, if you have negative feelings about certain things that you're doing, then write up a Post-it note and put that Post-it note there. So when you go to that place where you would normally have a negative feeling, there's something there to bring you up, right? That's another thing too with that can happen. People get a lot of anxiety when they go to have like a work function, or maybe a family reunion, or just certain things stress people out in different ways. And so if you know things that trigger you to have stress, then do something, set anew. Like if it's going to Easter Sunday at your family's house, you know, but you know that you have the obligation to do so. Nobody should ever do things that they don't want to do. First off, I'm not condoning people doing things that they don't want to do. However, if you start the day off at home with like a new tradition that will get your mind right for the day, then do that. And then make it manageable for you to go and do the thing that you might not want to do. It's kind of along the same lines as getting used to loving yourself and saying positive things about yourself. So like looking back at the things that you wrote down from last week, so whether it was that you looked in your mirror and you just, for a week, every day, or for a day, for 2 minutes a day, or if you sat down in silence, or what? Nobody's out there. It's okay. Do you feel bad, Broody? What do you feel bad about? You know, you have written those things down. So now on the second week, or if you're going by months, or if you're going by, I don't suggest going by year. I think setting a timeline to do each of these things is going to be beneficial. Brutus likes to talk about his bad breath. Get down, get down, get down. Look back at those things that you felt last week. Look back at the things that a lot of people feel hate for themselves. A lot of people just judge themselves. Like, some people might be like, this kind of bothers me about me, but it's not terrible. Some people take it to the other extreme, right? So wherever you are with that, look back at it from the week before, and then what can you do? Like, instead of saying, you know, my love handles are disgusting, I can't look at myself anymore, I hate my body, you know, well, you know what though, since last week I decided to get up and I walked 4 times a week this week. I took my dog on a walk, and so, you know, I wasn't doing that prior to that. So at least now I'm starting somewhere. Or, you know, I've stopped criticizing myself in front of my children. Or, you know, I'm still having these very, very deep feelings about myself, or I'm definitely not loving this, but I had a talk with my husband, and you know, these are the things that he loves about me, and so those are the things that I wrote on my post-it notes or my mirror. One of my good friends, it's so awesome, she started dating this amazing guy, and they started doing like affirmations and meditations and different things like that, reading personal development together. And so like she would go into her bathroom or like into the bedroom, and on the mirror he would write these amazing things about her. So if you're really, really having a hard time to find these things that you love about yourself, ask the people that are in your home. Ask them if they can write something down for you. You know, there's no shame in asking, especially if it's going to take you a while to get to that place where you can do it. A lot of people, it might seem very easy for me to say, like, just write it down on a post-it note. Some people can't do that right now. If you're having a hard time, reach out to me. I can find plenty of things about you that you should love. Seriously, I can help that. You're allowed to have vulnerable moments, and so again, this is not going to be something that's super, super easy for everybody, and it's going to take time, and you'll finally maybe get over these feelings, and then these feelings will pop up, right? Life is just a pleasant surprise like that, where just when you think things are getting awesome, something else pops up sometimes. So allow yourself to have those moments, but try to quickly move past them, right? Don't continue to be the woe is me, or oh, I'm a victim, or poor me. You know, really, really start to have those affirmations of being best versions of yourself. And if you're not taking any action, you don't get to complain. I'm sorry, you just don't. If you're not taking actions in your life to do better every day, then you do not get to complain. Here's another thing. Build a library of kind thoughts. Again, have people around you write down something, or, you know, write yourself letters. That's something else that we do in our groups, is like in the beginning, we'll write ourselves a letter. And sometimes people don't realize how unhappy they are. And then like 3 weeks into it, or on the 4th week, we'll be like, okay, write yourself a letter now. And looking at the difference, you guys, I cry every single time, obviously, because it's like in just 3 or 4 weeks time, this is the mind shift that the people in my groups are having from being better people for themselves, right? A lot of people are like, nope, I don't have time, or I can't do that, or because of my kids, and da-da-da-da. This is about you, right? This is I love me Monday. This is not I love everybody else Monday. In order to be the best for everybody else, you have to be the best for yourself first. So just remember that. And then like week 3 or month 3 or whatever your timeline is just to pass it forward. Pay it forward, pass it along, whatever you want to call it. Maybe the company that you keep likes to talk about people or put people down or judge people. And again, a lot of times that's just because people are uncomfortable, or it's because people don't have the strength to do what other people are doing. And so they talk badly about other people, and that's just not cool, right? I'm trying to use my mommy words here. But like, maybe you could just say like, you know what, I don't feel comfortable engaging in these conversations anymore where we're just gonna bash other people. Or, you know, I mean, it's great to have opinions, and I certainly am one, like, I don't have anything to hide, so I will definitely tell people how I feel. But you know, a lot of people get into like the judging and talking about other people, and it's not cool, right? So don't rush to judge. Dish out compliments. How many people do you walk by in a day, especially here, you guys, in Virginia? Like, so many people just like have their head down, or like have this crabby look on their face. And that used to be me, don't get me wrong. I used to like be proud that I had like that look, like, okay, don't make her angry, right? But now, like, I always say hello to people. I always smile at people. I always wave. I always wave the other person to go. Like, again, I used to be like impatient in traffic, and now I'm just like, whatever. In fact, if people behind me are honking at me, I'm just gonna sit there. Like, if somebody honks at me, you know, again, in Virginia, when you're at a red light and it turns green, but they're literally honking at you before it like fully turns green, I will sit there through the next light. I will. Because like, I am sorry, but if I can't even get my foot from the brake to the gas and you're already honking at me, I will just wait. And you can sit in your car behind me and you can be super, super heated and irritated and cuss at me and do whatever you need to do. And I'll just sit there with a big old smile on my face because, look, just take a minute to breathe and relax and enjoy your life, okay? So, We Love Us Monday. Reach out to me. If literally a lot of people don't have people that they can count on or rely on, or, you know, sometimes it's very, very, very hard for people. I am here for you to reach out to if you just need to talk to somebody or need help finding something to be proud of yourself about. I can help you with that. So anyways, have a really, 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 really good day. Please pray for the sun to come out for when I'm in Punta Cana. Please. It's rainy here. It's rainy there. It's rainy everywhere. I just want to see the sun. Have a good day, you guys.